Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995, Studio A. And now onto the show. Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my show. For the new people that are tuning in and for the ones that have been following me, I'm happy to see you, that you'll be calling in hopefully with some questions, and if not, we have some people here in the studio. I know that I have some questions. You have some questions for me. I have a special guest, Jay, who's going to be giving me some questions. I think in the beginning, maybe a little bit about myself, because just to explain to the viewers, I actually do go into a trance. You don't know that, but it actually happens with the first question. I'm not there yet, but I will be when I get the first question. So here we go.
Okay.
We're going to have Dawn hopefully will ask me some questions too. So here we go. Okay. Hi.
Okay, let me start with just with this simple question. I see the name of the show is Call Me Zena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where did Zena come from?
I love that question because I get that asked many, many times. They're saying to me, but your name is Sally. Why do we call you Zena? So in answer to the question, I actually, in the beginning, about 19 years ago, I was getting several messages. I wasn't even sure where they were coming from, but they have continued. And one of the messages that they gave me, if I was to go ahead with what I'm doing, and with my art too, to call myself Zena. So I'm either Zena or Sally. Right now I probably am Zena because I'm right there with them. But in my everyday life, I'm called Sally. So that my name is Sally, but Zena is apparently what they wanted me to call myself.
Okay, and it works for you, right?
It works for me because once I'm here where I am, and I'm in a different, I would say a different vibrational energy, and I'm there right now, I feel very comfortable with the name Zena. If you called me that when I'm out of this vibrational energy, I come times when someone says Zena, I wonder what they're saying. But right now, yes, Zena is good for me. Thank you.
Okay, so you like tune in or get into the persona of Zena when you are in these spirit.
I think so, yes. I mean, I don't do it consciously, but I am aware of that today because I have no idea. And just to give you a little background, and it's good that maybe you're asking me these questions, I don't remember what I say on my show. And people that have known me, I've been doing this for 1.5 years now, but I have recordings, which we have at the Brooklyn Cafe, so I can go back onto YouTube or into Facebook with my recording, and then I'll say, oh, I remember that certain segment, but I won't remember the rest of the segments. So this is what happens to me, yes. I do remember we had a fire here last week, though, and everybody is safe and sound for anybody tuning in. It didn't come into the studio. I was the last one to leave, and I smelled smoke because it took me a few minutes to actually come to after. It was in the middle of my show, but we're all right.
Well, everything worked out
and my
okay.
paintings and everybody's paintings are all intact too. And I believe nobody was hurt, right? Okay, everybody is fine.
That's a little scary when you have this much artwork and everything in a place and there's fire.
It's funny though how you put your priorities. I mean, my main concern was when I realized what had happened is that the studio was okay with your equipment, and then I suddenly said, you know what, I have some art here too. So it's strange how that happens.
And then today it was there was no water. So it was just like the
They're
opposite.
working on it though, so okay.
You know, so that's back. Everything is okay with that now.
Everything is fine. So let's on with the show, as they say, right?
Right.
Right. So if there's any questions of anybody that wants to call in and ask me anything, do we have somebody?
I'm just checking your messages now. Linda is watching.
Hi, Linda.
So let me ask you, it's been a little bit kooky here since Monday, right? We had the fire next door. Thankfully, I know we're well protected here. So the fire was next door on Monday and everyone got out safely. Then we came in Tuesday and there was a broken water main. And then we came in Friday and there was a broken water main. And then we came in today. What's going on?
Okay, just know that we are definitely protected here. I feel that. But you know, sometimes things happen for reasons, and the fact that I can't give you the answer to that, and there still may be more to come, but I don't want to say that because we are up to a point. I really feel that we are being protected here. So I felt comfortable, so comfortable enough that I never came around when I was told that there was a fire. I was still in where I am now for another 5 or 6 minutes.
You know, I always feel when I'm here that you know, it's a safe place. It's a safe environment, and I feel very relaxed when I come into the studio.
Right, me too. I have the same feeling, Jay.
And-
Exactly. Yes,
right,
Yes.
it's,
yes. It's
it-
something magical about it.
Once you come through the doors, you know, I wish, you know, somebody, you know, out there, just come to the studio, because you won't believe the difference when you walk through the door.
Totally
how
agree.
you feel.
And I've said that, and you haven't been on my show before, or one time before. But how many times have I actually said that, Dawn? Excuse me, and I'm going to get that sneeze, so I guess. Excuse me. There's something very magical, and we do get little messages here. There's a door that up there that opens, and your front door today was opening.
All day.
correct? Yeah. So they're with us. So welcome to the family here on my show.
Yeah,
Okay, we have a lot of
it's
visitors
just-
right now.
This is an amazing place. and
It
I'm
is.
just very,
It is, and you
very happy
always
to be-
seem to meet, and I have done, and I really can honestly say this: the people that I'm meant to be in my life, I have met them here in the studio. It's been incredible, starting even with Russ, who did that. I actually, for viewers that know me, and my first book was about alien abductions. I didn't realize, but I actually had been abducted myself.
Seriously.
It took a while for me to even understand that. I was documenting everything, and sure enough, somebody came into the studio as I was writing my book with somebody here in the studio, and his show was all about alien abduction, so I had a lot to relate with him.
Oh,
Yeah, I came
wow.
out with that on the show, as
Wow,
Freddie can
that's,
attest to, right?
I was
Yeah.
talking to someone the other night, and their friend, they were on the phone with their friend, they were talking about, the friend says, oh, I've had this alien encounter, and they come to me, and I think we talked about this, about doing a hybrid race between the aliens and the humans. Do you believe in this?
Absolutely.
And then what do you tell somebody who says that, because the regular conventional world does not believe this?
I would say believe them. If they're saying it, it's too difficult to even, if you want to think. I may not, I came out with this 18 years ago, and I didn't even know that I had been abducted many times. But if they're saying it, it's not they're not making it up, because to tell people, and I see this too, because people can look at me and say, what in the world are you talking about? It's more accepted now. But if everybody who doesn't know each other comes out with the same story, how can this be made up? I don't know what other people had said. I hadn't even really watched programs about it, because I knew what was happening to me, and I had documented it. So I do believe that when someone says that, please listen, because it's, in my mind, I can't tell you everybody's mind, but I definitely believe that it's true, because it's happened to me.
Okay. When you say that you had documented it, did you have a memory of what happened that you were documenting?
Yeah, I like that question too. For me, first of all, if you know anything about astral projection, I didn't know, but I was dreaming, and I was flying around where I live, but I was also flying to other different planets. And for over a year, this happened to me 3 times a week. But what I
Really?
did is, and I know today, I can even remember everything apart from what I had written down from many years ago. It's hard to understand, but I was actually there, because in a dream you don't always remember it. Right. However, I woke up and I was able to document everything at 3:30 in the morning or 4 o'clock. And this is not my thing to wake up and write things, but I was compelled to write down. But I didn't even need that, because the memory of it still is very much intact in my mind from 19 years ago.
Okay, so it may have been different from a dream. It may have been more reality than...
It was, because I didn't know anything. If any of the viewers, and I know I have many maybe not listening right now, but they do share this video, I was astral projecting around, and I was going to all these places. I had no idea what that was, but I was describing in my writing down exactly what was going to happen, what was happening to me. I'm sorry, they just said I have a few minutes. I think someone called in. What was happening. So I was relating to what they were saying to me, because it was happening to me too. And I was lucky enough, I know you don't know my story really, but somebody came into my life the first day that the night that it happened. The following day, I was at work, and somebody, and it's a good time maybe to discuss this, I didn't know where I was. I knew what I'd seen. It seemed very real, but I thought, how can that be possible? And I'd been working where I had been working for over a year, and this particular person came up to me, Aldo, who knows who he is, who's listening maybe, or have heard me talk about him, tapped me on my shoulder and said to me, I was getting a cup of coffee, I know where you were last night. And I said, well, I don't even know. And he described my dream, quote, dream, completely in detail.
He described it to you?
Yes.
Oh my
so
goodness.
to me, I didn't know what was happening, and I can't say I was scared, but I was absolutely amazed that somebody could do this. But one of my first messages was to go and get some paper and scribble, what I was scribbling in the beginning, and get something and start to paint. Well, I've never painted. And 18 years later, my art comes to me the same way. So that's part of my story.
That's something.
He stayed in my life. He passed away nearly 2 years ago. For 18 years, a day didn't go by that I never spoke to this man who understood everything. He was advanced and showed me and told me what was happening in detail. I had to explain first, because it wouldn't have been validation, and then he'd tell me what I was talking about. So.
Wow. Well, I hope everything you documented will be in your book.
Yeah, well, it was in my first book that's been out, but I'm doing a revised version of that. And, so hopefully in a couple of months.
That sounds like a very fascinating
and
story.
Also a movie is hopefully coming out
Wonderful.
too. So
Wonderful.
We're on the right track
like,
now. Yeah, definitely on the right track.
And,
I think
Sally, you have a phone call, actually. Pete's on the line.
We can take it. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Pete. Hello?
Hey there, Sally. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Pete. How are you doing?
Fine. It's your favorite person in the studio, usually. Here's my question for you. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I'm getting more and more of this weird psychic thing inside my body. All the behavior around me, all adults seem very cliche behavior. Is it some kind of a indigo thing I'm experiencing, or what do you think is happening?
I think you're coming more aware and more in touch, although you've been doing this, as I know, for many, many years, Pete. But I think now is your time to, I'm going to say, and it's not that you haven't done this in the past, but they're telling me to take this more seriously, okay? Take it as you're getting some really good messages that are about what's going to be happening. You're getting future in your life, if that makes sense to you. Everything is happening, as you know, past, present, and future, but you're getting messages that are going to be happening to you. Do not be scared, and I know that you're not, but just take it seriously. I don't know exactly what you're referring to right now, but you are thinking of something. And it is going to come about, okay? It will happen. But I'm here as the messenger to tell you that please, whatever you feel, take it seriously. Don't get sidetracked with a million other things. And I know we can all do that. And I know that you do too. But concentrate on what you really want, okay? And it will happen. I hope that helps you.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. And make sure you give out your email address for the audience.
I will. Thank you, Pete. Okay, thank you for calling in. Okay.
And Sally, I had a dream last night that talked about a foundation and grants. And it was like this colorful chart. It was blue and white, but it has to do with you. So I'm going to ask the guys, what are they saying? How does it have to do with you?
It does. I'm getting absolute goosebumps. I don't know too much about this, okay? But I know that we're moving forward, Dawn, and I am part of this process. I feel that this last week or two, and I'm not sure when this happened that you got whatever it is that you got, but I feel that they're also working with me with this. And a lot's happened this last week with what I'm going to go and be able to do myself locally, because it's all about the cafe too. It's not like I'm having to fly to all these different places. I am going to be giving presentations up to maybe as far as Jupiter or wherever, but I will include the cafe because this is where I started and this is where I will be, and I have that now out there, okay? So whatever you're doing as far as this goes, and obviously unfortunately, the way the world is and the way we are, we need money. But I feel that you're going to be getting a grant that is going to be coming in for you, for the cafe, But having said that, this is where my priority is too. So the fact that they've included me in this is part of the journey. I don't know, and I'm talking just from I'm pulling this information in. So I don't know, and we'll obviously talk more. Also with the show that we're doing too. I just heard today, we've talked
Our
more
upcoming
about it,
show.
more our upcoming show. The two of us, Jay and
Mm-hmm.
myself will be doing a show here. It's all part of a much, my message is, it's all part of a bigger picture. And as the weeks go by, we're going to find out more. It's going to kind of, it's like, you know, they say you peel an onion and each layer is going to show itself. Well, it's not going to take that long. That I know, because I'm getting older too. But I am part of the process, and I don't know yet where or when, but I know that my life is beginning to move forward with all the things that I have put out there with my art. I'm having people now, and you were right in the studio the other day. Someone said, are you selling your art? It's not that I haven't been serious, but I think I was more into doing the show here. But now I see that it helps a lot of people with what I'm doing, because I'm getting a lot of thank yous. And my art is included, as yours will be too. It's all part of a bigger picture here. So I don't know if that makes sense to you in any way. But
It was interesting because it was part with Call Me Zena and foundations and monies and grant money. So I thought, well, let me ask you what you're thinking.
Well, I think that it's a very positive sign. That I do want to tell you. I feel that we're all going to benefit from this. But when I say we all, I also mean outside of here. There are people that I have a message. And you know, I'm not about ego. You know me well enough to say, oh, I know all this, and I know you haven't known me that long, but it's what I do, other people can do. Only I've chosen to do it right now and be open about it because I receive messages. But my aim really ultimately is to help other people, because my life has been difficult and I want to spread that word. But that comes with a grant. Because if you're helping people for yourself, I'm not necessarily talking personally for me, but what you put out there, if you don't maybe have all the finances, but you're helping people, it's a form of a reward for you, so to speak. I didn't know anything about grants, and I still really don't. But I know, unfortunately, or whatever it is, it takes money to spread that out there. But if you're really genuine, as you definitely are here in the cafe, and I feel that too, it comes to you, and it comes to you in a form of a grant sometimes, or somebody leaves you something, no matter what it is, it will happen as long as you believe that. So I'm talking about something I don't know too much about, but I feel that I am part of that. I don't know if you
Absolutely.
feel the same, but I definitely do, yes.
And what else did my guardians have to say today?
Well, they've been working very much with you, Dawn, as you know, and I was able to get your guardian angel here, who is your angel, archangel, and they're very, very happy with the progress that you are now. I feel that they're telling me to tell you that you're focusing much more into particular. It's not all scattered. You're putting your, which is okay, that's fine, because that's how we find our purpose. But you're focusing more in on maybe, if it's not 10 things I want to say, it's 1, 2, or 3. And they feel that they're making progress with you. Can you relate to that? Okay, that's coming to me very much, and I'm getting my, what they call famous goosebumps with this. So I feel that you are on the right track. And I keep including myself here, and again, I feel, and I also feel that, Jay, you're part of this program too, because we're going to be doing a show. We need to go forward with any of this that we are discussing, because it is on the right track. We're doing the right thing. So be it your show,
good
be
about
it
that,
what you're
yeah.
talking about, but don't scatter all these things too much. In other words, also, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but however, don't spread the basket a million ways. That's what they're telling me. Does that make
Right.
sense? Okay, so
Right.
focus in as a team. Whatever we're doing, we'll succeed. And we'll, above all, it's going to help people. And that's the main reason for doing this. It's to help people. If we're really genuine about this, and I feel that whoever I meet here
Right.
that I have contact with is genuine about this, to spread our message to other people.
Right, and
But unfortunately, it does take money.
and I feel too that I have now I don't know, called in a different direction than I was before.
Right.
and I feel that this is part of it. That where I'm going, it's a different road. Than
It's a
I was
journey.
on. It's
It's a journey.
and I have just been taken to a different direction, and this direction is very positive. I feel very positive about
Great.
where I'm going now
Great.
and what I'm doing, and everything that I'm doing. I'm very.
I believe this with all my heart from everything that's happened to me, because yes, we get sidetracked along the way, but the focus is mainly on what we want to do. And if you stay positive with that, I truly believe it happens. It happens. Unfortunately, we get people that come in and say, oh, this isn't the right thing or that. But if you stay focused, not you personally,
Right,
anybody
right,
stays
right.
focused, it will work if it's meant to be. And we really want to do
Right.
that. I believe that anything I want to do now, and I'm getting older, is for a reason and a purpose, and I will succeed, as you will and as you will.
Do you ever get messages for yourself?
Very few. Once in a while, I'll get messages. It may come in a form of a question from somebody else, actually, but it's hard for me to read my own messages. But if you ask me a question sometimes, I think, well, maybe that was for, well, a very good, I'm talking about my daughter. How many times has she come through to you? She knows my daughter passed just under 2 years ago now, really. But she gives you the messages, and I definitely relate to that. Does she come to me? Yes, she does, but it's easier, I think, for them because I don't always understand that for myself.
Does it take you to quiet your mind to hear the messages?
Does it take me to?
Quiet your mind.
No, not
You just
really.
hear them.
I can still do it. I mean, we're here, and I have my stuff, and I have my drama, but I can definitely put it in another place. And I have learnt that over the years, and I believe it's not only me, we all can, because I used to be in a very stressful selling job, and I would come in with a lot of problems that I had, but they would say, put your problems aside. And I would concentrate for those 6-7 hours on what I had to do. And I was pretty successful at doing that. It's a challenge, but if you bring it into what is important in your life with what you're doing, I'm not going to say a disaster, but it can certainly distract from what you're planning on doing. I won't let that happen to me.
Different things. And Jay's lovely wife just passed. Did she come through to you? Because I feel like she's with Jay.
Oh, she's with me all the time. I mean, it's just I feel her presence all the time, and I know that she is happy that I am not just staying where I was and that I'm moving in a positive direction.
She is guiding you right now, Jay. I feel that very strongly. I know it's not been that long ago, and I know it's just to give you a little background of what I mean. It's no way of proving what I'm saying,
right.
but this is what I truly feel. There is no time on the other side, but they have a rest period. But if someone is grieving and you really love someone as your wife, they stay around a little bit. So she's a protector for you right now, actually. She's protecting you. She's trying to give you the messages, little things. You might go into the kitchen, and it might remind you of her,
Right,
and you'll
right.
feel her presence. And I feel that, oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
can look at this.
yeah,
So that happens. But on the other side of this, they also need to rest after a while too. So as there's no time, it's just accept that they are around. Do our grieving, but and as I did obviously for my daughter too, but they need to go and do what they have to do, but they never leave you. They never, love never dies. Love
Right.
never dies.
Right,
And
I can feel that, and
absolutely.
And another thing I feel too is that I feel a strong urging to move on, but in a different direction. That's the urge that I have, and I feel that I'm being guided that way.
Well, you're very intuitive. I mean, you're an artist too, and we're going to have a
Right.
show on that. And
Right.
I feel that very strongly because your art is coming it's from you, but it's from a
Right.
different, I'm going to say, aspect of yourself, okay? So when we touch that, a lot of other things open up, which we can actually discuss on the show too. Because I didn't, and I was not aware of that, but I see that actually happened to me too, because I wasn't So I thought psychic, although I look back now. But when all this happened to me, I became very intuitive and psychic because I was aware that I was doing things, or let's say, out of the box. I couldn't draw. I was drawing from past lives. So all these things fit together, but the timing, although there is really no time, we have time here, so it becomes important. And I think we're going to break for a commercial.
As soon as you're up.
Okay, so we're going to just, I always say I'll see you on the other side of this program after the commercial, okay, or the break. Okay, guys, I'll see you back in a few minutes.
A true story, Call Me Zena is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
My story starts at 4 or 5 years old. My name is Sally Bernard, and I was born at the end of the Second World War, in the middle of an air raid siren going off. My parents were in a movie theater, and my mother went into labor. My father ran out of the movie theater, but there was no cabs to be available because everybody is running for cover. However, they found one, and the taxi driver was given the address to take my father and my mother to the hospital. As my mother was in labor, about a half an hour, I arrived at exactly midnight. I think I was fed messages at a very early age. My parents used to like to play cards, and they had a card game every Wednesday or Thursday night at home when I was a baby. And I actually said to them one day, "Why do you keep waking me up at night? The card game is waking me up, and I can't get back to sleep so quickly." And they looked at each other and they said, "We're not really waking her up." They were quite away from my bedroom. And they called in a psychic to say, "What in the world is going on?" And the psychic said that I'm getting many messages that are waking me up at night. I thought whatever I was experiencing, other people were experiencing too. You don't know until you realize that you are different. Many things were happening to me, things that were unexplainable to me. What I had dreamt was happening. I could sense many things, and the things that I was sensing were coming about, but something was going on. I will explain to you everything. You're ready. Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book and artwork by visiting artbysallybernard.com. Now back to the show. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. We're now on the other side of my show. Okay, so any questions, anybody in the studio? I'm ready.
Ellie, how does that piece make you feel?
Listening to the trailer just now, strange. I love it, and it takes me back to actually when this all really started with me, and I wasn't aware of it. I thought everybody could experience what was happening to me. It was only later on that when all this happened with my art and Aldo showing up and all this flying around all over the place, that I realized that I was very psychic because I opened up to it. I'd always been able to give people saying I felt something was going to happen to them, And I would explain it, and most of the time it did happen. But again, I thought maybe everybody could do this. When you don't really know and you accept it, especially at a younger age, you think everybody is, well, actually they all can do it. We're just not aware that we can do it. That's all. I don't believe, again, I'm going to say, I don't believe I'm any different to anyone else. I've just come up and I've opened up to what's happened to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I believe that everyone has different gifts, and that some people have multiple gifts that they've been given, and the more they should explore that and really really use that, because it wasn't a gift that was just happened to come to you. It was something that was given to you.
Right.
That's why it's a gift.
Yeah, I look at it that way too. It's a gift and a blessing from something higher and greater than us, and I was able to tap into
Right.
that. And I
Right.
know we had that discussion a little while ago, and I do not take God out of this equation in any way whatsoever. I mean, I don't particularly want to get into a subject of religion
Right.
or politics, but there is a power greater than ourselves, and I totally, totally believe that with all my heart. So people might say, oh, she's an atheist, or she's this and that. No, I am not. I believe that we are being guided in whatever form that we want to
Right.
feel that we're being guided for. The most important part of this is that we believe that there is something else. This is not it. There is much more going on. So just
yeah.
we had a little conversation about that before. So if you want to
Right.
ask me anything on that, so whatever you want to ask me, or maybe Dawn wants to.
Well, I guess the question is, spirituality kind of encompasses a lot of things.
Right.
Whether it's religion or whether it's or something different. It does affect everyone if they know it or not.
Absolutely, and I love that too. But I think what my message is today is to, and I'm not going to be able to do this with everybody, of course, but I want to give what happened to me, and I want to show it they tell me by example, because the only way that you can show I could say all sorts of things, but if I can't show that, I don't expect people to believe me. So through my art, I think I've expressed that, because I knew nothing, so I thought about art. Through the people that have come into my life, how my journey has moved forward with the
Right.
correct people coming into my life, even to the upcoming show that we're doing.
Right.
Many times I've said to Dawn, the cafe here, I can only talk about what happened to me, but it certainly benefited my life over the years by just knowing that the right people are showing up. And I'm an empath, and an empath is, if it's the wrong person, I'm going to feel that too. I'm not rude, but I listen to what's happening to me, and I'll walk away from a situation.
Yeah.
So it's important to take note of what's going on around us. It's very important.
And like I feel with my artwork that I have done, and I've really realized this, that all my artwork reflects my life at the time that I was creating the artwork, and that still is the case. And I see it shifting. I have gone through several different styles, but it's always something that is part of me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too, because over the 18 years that I've painted, I will do a particular style and it may go on for a year. I'm not painting continually through the year. And if I take a break, I've changed in my life too. I think it reflects. I'm only just understanding that today because I have different styles, many different types of
Right.
styles. But this last one, I'd taken a year and a half and I really hadn't drawn anything. And I said, how can it possibly change again? But it reflected where I'm coming from. I don't really know and can't completely interpret what this is going on. Someone told me organized chaos, but these are my later pieces of art, which I actually love. I don't often go back and look at, I painted it, I'll put it away, I'll put it somewhere, or whatever happens to it. But I'm really drawn to doing this type of art today. So, yeah, it reflects our mood, I think. It
Because
reflects where we're coming from.
It really does. I know because my artwork during COVID, I was doing black and white,
Right.
and it was it was dark, but it was hopeful.
Right.
That was my feeling then, but it was black and white because
Well,
that's how I.
I'm really excited because we'll talk more, obviously, when we've got a show going on. And I think this would be the theme of something that we can then talk about how different aspects and interview other artists to see
Right.
that I do
Where
believe.
did they get their?
Yes, and as this show is, for people that are listening or wanting
Yes.
to listen to, maybe they've got messages and things, but what we're doing is we're receiving messages, whether we're aware of it or not. And because we're artists, we can reflect that onto a
It comes
canvas.
back out onto.
It comes to,
yeah,
it more
yeah.
or less comes alive in this world. So
And it's
it
the
makes
same
sense.
thing. It's the same thing with musicians.
Yes.
They receive this and they bring it out in their
Absolutely,
music.
100%.
And I think that's the thing with the arts, that we are all vessels, and we just
Yes.
receive what we're going to do, and then we.
And it's a gift, because if
It
we can
is.
put
It's
on
definitely a
paper
gift, yeah.
what, I mean, I was putting on paper, and I didn't know sketching of things that I believe in previous lives. I don't expect everybody else to, although I'm meeting everybody nearly that I talk to does believe in previous lives. And if they don't, that's fine too. But I was putting down things that I had, drawing things that I'd seen from centuries ago that I had never seen in this lifetime. So I was pretty stubborn in understanding this, but I'm sketching things that I've never even
Yeah.
seen that were pertaining to a life from many, many years, thousands
Yeah.
of years ago,
Yeah.
or hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, and-
So how in the world can that happen?
Well,
To me,
maybe-
it was very real.
Maybe that explains a little bit, because the artwork that I'm doing now is based on 19th century
Okay.
style.
I love that you brought this up. This was not coincidence, okay? Absolutely. I feel that, I mean, we can talk privately or on the upcoming show that we will have, but yes, absolutely, because they literally had to knock me on the head and say to me, how could you be doing that? Obviously, you're remembering from a previous lifetime. My guide showed up here on Earth, Aldo, he knew who I was, and he would look at that and he said, I'm not even going to tell you, but I know what you've drawn. Go at this time now, because we have access to the internet to see what many artworks or signs from centuries ago. I saw
Yeah.
my signs, I saw everything.
Yeah.
And the validation is for you that you're sitting here right now and we're discussing this. I feel definitely you've gone back into that century.
I do, and I feel everything about that where it's coming from, and I understand the art. I get
There you
it.
go. And I'm so happy that you're actually, it was on the show here now, that you're seeing that. It's amazing. And for me, my greatest pleasure is if I talk about something and someone can relate to it in their own life, I'm doing my
Yeah.
job as you are now doing
Right,
your job.
and that's
Yeah.
why I'm so excited about this show that we're going to be doing
Right.
inside the artist's mind.
Yep.
To talk to artists and musicians and people in the arts, writers, everything about where they're inspired from and where did they go, where did it come from.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface here. But this isn't coincidental that you're on my show, that we're actually discussing this for the first time, right?
Right.
So here we go, and I'm looking forward to it. So anybody that's listening, we have an up-and-coming show called...
Yeah, inside the artist's mind.
There we go. We've said it here right now on Call Me Zena. Okay, so, okay, thank you, Jay. That was good. Any questions, Dawn?
Tracy Latome says hi. I'm waiting
Hi,
to see if she has
Tracy.
any questions. But let me ask you, what do you see as far as past lives for me? Does it change?
Yes, Tracy, I do feel, and I feel that you were around. Also, I'm going to go into the 1900s. I see, actually, I feel that you are a dancer. I'm seeing Can. Okay, if you have, I know you're local, she's local, pop into the studio. I am getting some sort of a message. I feel that I have a message about this. I see, those skirts that they wore with all the frills and everything. I don't know, and it's hard because we're talking like you're writing in. But if you feel any of this, please let me know, because I do feel that. If you can just type a question or call in, I'd like to know if this was accurate for you.
Let's see what she says. And what about my past life? Does it affect my current life?
Yes, yes, it does. If we have even pleasant situations, we'll meet people, but we also have what we call karma. It's a little different, and I always say that to what we really feel karma is, because we actually have the choice whether we're going to work it out in any particular lifetime. But ultimately, let's say to graduate from all of this, we need to settle lives. We need to settle things that we've left unsettled in previous lives. It doesn't always show up in each lifetime, but I believe it's very important. And I also, you know, there are many people that have talked about this. What's coming to me is Brian Weiss, who wrote a book, many books on many masters, many lives, I believe. And he would take people back through hypnosis. And he did not know, he was, as far as I know, a very well-known psychiatrist, but was going back into things that were affecting people in this lifetime that had happened in other lifetimes. So this does happen, and it's actually been proven. And I feel very much, and I feel very, very grateful that I'm able to tap into this for other people.
So what do you see in my past lives?
Well, you know that we definitely had a lifetime together, Dawn.
Or two.
And I believe, and if you don't mind me airing this, that you were my daughter in one of these lifetimes, plus few other people that we've picked up here in this lifetime that were my daughters. I haven't received anything from any of my sons yet, but let's see. So we were together in a lifetime, and we felt that. I bring in a painting and before I didn't know you, and that you had recognized the painting. So I think if we follow our intuition, I was led to come here. I was led to come here 3 years before I actually arrived, because I didn't follow what I was being told. But you know what? I still showed up here, and I haven't left now. It's a year and a half. I'm still sitting here. So I know I'm in the right place. So I feel that some of the messages that I have given you, without maybe airing it completely, are accurate, absolutely accurate. I feel that your daughter is also part of this. I'm not sure about your son, but for some reason I'm not getting the male aspect of this. I'm getting a lot of females. But maybe that's what they want me to know right now. But of course, we can change sexes too, actually.
What do you see from my daughter with her future?
I see that she needs to take away she's like not nervous, but she needs to be more confident in what she's doing. She's doing the right thing, but tell her as much as you can, because it's not that she is going to succeed, but she's got to know that she's going to succeed. And I don't know, I don't know her that well. She has a very strong personality, very strong. But unfortunately, it's interrupting what she's doing, because she feels that sometimes she's doing it the right way. It may be for that moment, but she still has to keep an open mind. But it's hard for her to do that. Okay, but just let her know, and she can call me at any time, that she's definitely on the right track. Be behind her with this, which I know you are. And if she doesn't want to listen to you, or she'll say, oh, you've always said that, but it's not happening, assure her. Tell her I'm saying it's going to happen, okay? That might help, all right? Does that make sense to you?
She's going to say when she's going to meet her romantic partner.
She's got to stop worrying about it, okay? It'll happen all in good time, but the more she focuses on it, it can have a reverse effect. And please let her know this, because she'll walk out and look in a room and say, oh, I don't know, when is this ever going to happen? But it's going to be unexpected. It'll happen when she's not focusing on it. That's coming through very strong for her, okay? Very strong.
And what about for my son? What do you see?
He's very content and very happy. I do see, and I don't like to give premonitions about babies being born, but I feel that they're in waiting right now, yes. Okay? So that's what's happening. I don't want to say within the next year or 2 years, but I don't think it's going to be that long, okay? So I won't remember unless I look back on my show what I'm talking about. Right, that is my message for him and his wife, okay?
Thank you. Jay?
And, just reflecting like that to see where things were from in the past, and also to transfer into the future, if you have, like, you're here and now. That's what we
exactly.
That's what
yes.
we have.
Yeah, we have the now, and that's all we have actually.
Right.
But what happens, and I don't know if this, I think you were following these lines, that's what I'm feeling. We've had, what I believe and what I've felt, we've had many, many different lives. So we're not going to bring in everything. It's like watching a movie and suddenly you're bringing in everything.
Yeah.
No, we'll bring in what's relevant for our life today. And let's say it's a person that can come into our life, that maybe we had something to settle in a previous life, maybe that we love that person, maybe we dislike that person. But people often say when you meet someone, sometimes you're very drawn to someone, and for some reason you look at that person and say, I don't want them in my life. But I believe they show up. Not everybody, because they're still on the other side.
Right.
But the people that might be relevant for this lifetime, if we take notice, we will see them, okay? I do believe that. As Dawn and I had that connection when we met. And it happens, but you have to be aware of it, to have an open mind and believe it. And then you'll see all sorts of things were happening.
Yeah, it's interesting because, Dawn and I kind of had this connection with, with my artwork
Right.
that I was doing. She had photographs that were identical to my artwork, and I had never seen her photograph, and she had never seen my artwork.
And I'm happy that you brought, and we have the one that you named Dawn behind you. The same happened with me, right? I come in, and I'd never met Dawn, so I thought. And I'm bringing in art, and your words were, I've seen this art, which she had. Dawn is very psychic, if you don't mind me saying so, but she doesn't always talk about it. She's her intuition, intuitive. Is the word,
intuition, I think, is a big
that's
thing.
really what psychic is anyway. It just has a different. People look at it differently, but it's intuition. It's a gut feeling, and if you come out with that, the only reason I give messages, I come out with my first thought, and it seems to be accurate. So.
Yeah, Jay's mind is different. What about when the animals come? I always feel like the squirrels come to me, and then there's red bird cardinals that come for my husband. Different animals, I think, are people's different, I don't want to say spirit guides, but I think
Well,
with
it's
messages.
a vibrational energy that they're also on, and they're expressing it because they're in it as an animal in a slightly different way. But if they feel, I'll give you an example of that. I lived in St. Martin for 2.5 years, and the dogs, I love dogs. And they run all around wild, which is really sad, but you walk on the beach, and I'd be walking on the beach, and I'd see 10 dogs behind me following me. It's because they're feeling a vibrational energy. You can't really feed them because they are street animals, but I would feed them and they'd take it and run away. But in answer to your question, the ones that come to you feel your vibrational energy. They're also, I believe, on different frequencies too. Animals have I believe, they just show it differently because we're not really talking to them. But they have, my dog Sabrina, and Aldo used to tell me, is that she's learning so much. He used to read to her for hours and hours. And it's like she would talk to him. She'd just sit there like this looking, and it's woof, woof. And he was able to talk to her. I truly believe that. And he's I know you're with her right now. He's telling me he's with her. Nobody else was going to take care of her on the other side. They may wanted to, but he told me they never would in this lifetime.
It's
He's with her.
amazing. I was out Saturday, this little girl, she's in her stroller, she had Down syndrome, and she was buckled in, but she was able to walk with her stroller, so she puts her feet down. She's probably 4. She walks over to me at this nail salon and just looks at me. She's like, hi. This whole conversation, her mother gets up, she wheels her back. Again, she rolls over to me. She says, hi. It has to be vibrational energy.
It's vibrational energy because we are actually energy, and it's like you plug in. They're showing me a socket, and you plug in something, and and they give me an example because I believe in England we have a different voltage. So if you plug that in, what's going to happen? It's going to, I think, explode or it won't work. But it's the same thing here on that vibration. If you're plugging it into somebody that's coming through with the same vibration, you're going to feel that. It seems that you carry on and everything you seem to be doing is just falling into place. Now, if you plug it into the wrong socket, whatever you do isn't going to matter because it's never at that time. I'm not saying it's never, but at that particular time, it's not going to fall into place.
So do you think, because I feel this way, that if I'm doing the correct thing for my life, that I feel good about it. And if I'm not going in the right direction, then I need to adjust it.
Yes, because you know what? We are our best judge of what's going on, because only you know what you're feeling, Jay. So if you're feeling, it's a gut, it's a feeling in our gut that you're doing the correct thing, it goes on from there, because you start doing it and it seems like if you're on that journey, everything you're touching, everything you're doing is falling into place.
Right.
Now, if it's wrong, and I'm not saying always we're always right, but you go to do something and it goes wrong, you can question that and say, well, maybe I shouldn't. But you know what? You're still going to be able to tell yourself, because if you continue and it continues to go wrong, my advice is you're not on the right track with that.
Right.
Do
You
something
need to
different.
adjust.
You need to adjust if you're feeling good. But if you're not, this is what they're telling me. If it continues to, it doesn't have to be terrible, but if whatever you do to try to correct that cannot correct it, no matter what it is, be a place, person, or a thing, it's best to step back, evaluate the situation and say, this is not working for me, and then go on to something else. It may not be the timing. You could perhaps go back to that a year from now, and try it again, and it might all fall into place.
Okay, maybe you were just ahead of your time.
It's possible, yes, or just the situation around you
wasn't right.
But go with your gut instinct. That's very, very important. If I've learned, I'm going to say if I've learned nothing else, but this is one of the things that I have learned. Absolutely go with your gut. People complain, and you can still do this. Oh, this is going on. Why am I doing the same thing over and over again? I have to step back, reevaluate my situation and say, this is not working. Next, we'll do the next thing. So it works. It definitely works. I feel it does.
And what do you think is next for you?
Well, I really feel very good about all this, what's going on. I feel that we're going to expand in the cafe here. I think we were talking about something about that before. I am going to go out more into the community here. I'm through the cafe. I met somebody who has watched my show a few times, who loved everything they saw, and she actually puts on people, not just my topic, into all the clubhouses and stages of people that wherever she goes in the community, and it's quite vast. I guess it can go 50, 60 miles. And her first question to me, and she had every right to ask me that, can I speak in front of an audience if it's 50, 60 or 100 people or even more? I don't mind doing that today, absolutely. And that's where I feel that I'm going to go out more into our community here, and hopefully bring more people into the cafe here, because this is absolutely a magical place. I'm here every Monday. I'm long-winded what I'm talking about here. Please come in if you're local. I'd love to meet you and give you messages. So I feel that I'm going to expand what I've been doing, definitely. My art, we're doing a show on art.
Yep.
Once you make up your mind, and I really feel that, it's all falling into place. Everything is falling into place.
Yeah, and it's, it was like this was meant to be, but it wasn't the right time.
It wasn't the right timing.
Right,
No, I don't know when we first met, but I know that we became friendly when we did the art showing, that we were right next to each other showing our art.
And,
so it's not coincidence. It totally is not coincidence, yes.
Which is wonderful to see what's going on and what's happening. And people can reach you on your email. Sally Bernard 1111@gmail.com.
Correct, yes.
Also on Facebook and YouTube.
Call Me Zena.
Call Me Zena and the Art of Sally Bernard.
Right.
And all of your artwork is for sale, as well as your clothing.
It is, yes. I'm actually going to be putting it onto clothing again. I did that for a little while, and then, life gets in the way. But I did get a lot of, I was doing pretty well. I was advertising on Facebook. So I'm going to go back into putting my art on clothing, because even though I might not realize it, I'm getting messages from people, and they're saying, do this with your art, put it onto the clothing. We want to buy more of what you were doing a few years ago. So listen, my message is listen to what you are experiencing, what you want to do, and other people help you on that journey. They'll give you messages about what you're doing.
Just got to be aware of it. What do you think about your name? Not your name, but people's names. You think their names have anything to do with who they are or a sign?
I've often thought about that. I can't tell you that I've had many messages about that, but sometimes we see someone and they'll say, you don't look like your name. So I think there's more to that in a name, actually. I mean, I was told to call myself Zena when I think we mentioned that when I'm here, I can remember a little bit of my show, that if they call me Zena, although I have one girlfriend that will only call me Zena, and I respect that, that's fine. But I think that name holds a the answer to that is names hold a vibrational energy. So if you're not happy with your name, by all means change it. My daughter did, actually. She was Louise Caroline, and she changed her name to Caroline Louise. It wasn't completely, but she reversed it. And many people do that. They say, you know what, I'm changing my life. I need to change my name. Why would they even think that unless it was real? I think it's important to follow that. Yes, absolutely.
But it's funny because we talked when I met you. My name was supposed to be Sally.
That's right.
So
yes.
they sent all these messages when you came in as if they just knew you were supposed to be here.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, because we were lucky enough to be aware of that, Dawn, maybe had I have come, well, I still was 3 or 4 years ago when I was meant to be, but I don't think that was the timing. I was going to be brought in by someone else who had talked about your cafe. So, well, we can't go back into what happened. It happened, and it will show itself no matter where we're meant to be. We will be there if
Eventually,
we follow,
right?
Eventually, absolutely follow our path. Right. So,
All right, I guess we're going to wrap this up.
well, this has been fun. This has been great, okay?
Very enlightening.
See you all next week, okay? And look out for our oncoming show again.
Inside the Artist's Mind.
Right, with Jay and myself. So look out for that. It'll be coming out soon. Thank you. Thank you.
You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Bernard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me out for resources by visiting artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week, Mondays at 2:30. Have a blessed day.